from Ashley, what goes into choosing a project, especially since history and documentaries can be a vast genre?
Well, I mean, I think it's about shining light on other people that you think are great. You know, so many of our stories don't get told. We have so many unsung heroes.
Yeah.
Um,
And that's what you did. Yeah.
well, I look, when I went to NYU, if you look at my first few projects, there are no black people in them at all, and that's just I wasn't necessary. I wasn't going. I didn't show up at NYU with a power fist fork comb pick in the
Cone
back of my.
picking.
Yeah, see, that's how nerdy I was. What is that comb you have with the fist on it? I want one. Like we didn't all grow up with that back in the '70s. But anyway, um, no, I grew up on John Hughes. I thought I was gonna be like making mainstream movies in Hollywood. I wasn't thinking about black cast or anything. I mean, I knew it was important, and I knew I had a legacy to uphold. But it wasn't until I got the AFI and I saw how racist that shit was that I said, like, look, if I'm not the one with the advantages, the opportunities, and the talent that I have to write stories or tell stories about my own people, they're never going to get told.
Yeah.
So that's when I went full throttle. And even then, if you look at the student work from AFI, it's still very Cosby-ish. I'm still singing "We Are the World" a little bit, and
Okay.
I like that song. I like that song a lot. So
I get what you mean.
I'm not trying to divide people, but I'm trying to at the same time I'm looking at all the information that we get about ourselves, and I'm like, this is not right. This is we're not being treated fairly when it comes to lately I've been talking about, is it representation or is it justice?
Hmm.
I want the same experience when I go see a movie that white people typically get when they go to the movies, when they go to be entertained. I don't need the thing to be twisted to make me feel so that there seems to be some catch.
Mm-hmm.
When you see black entertainment, Black Panther, great movie. Shout out to Ryan Coogler. But there were some things in there that made me uncomfortable, especially at the end when they give away the vibranium power. It's like, well, wait a second. You spent all this time, now you're gonna give away all your power to these white supremacists, the UN, to try to make the world more peaceful. It's like, no, that's problematic to me. But you're asking about documentaries, what goes into documentaries. This is really about finding stories that are worth telling. So when I got to Philadelphia, and I started making films, the first thing we started doing was filming Black Lily, or making an attempt to film Black Lily shows, which, for those who don't know, in the early 2000s, it was a weekly showcase for Black women, primarily women, uh, musical performers. It was founded by the Jazzy Fat Nasties and the Roots crew, and it was the thing that opened the door for Jasmine Sullivan, Kindred the Family Soul, Lady Alma, Floetry, Jazzy Fat Nasties, as I mentioned, and a plethora of other great artists. Adam Blackstone, uh, who's Grammy nominated this year and just won an Emmy for musical directing the Super Bowl. He was in the Jazzy Fat Nasties movie. He was the bass player in the movie, and now he's still giving back to Philly. Um, and I said, well, here I am. I got a camera. I know how to use it. Nobody else is here to tell this story. And if nobody else does, it's just gonna be somebody else's. It's just gonna be a memory, or we're gonna have to wait for Ken Burns 50 years from now to decide he wants to tell the story. So we started collecting the footage, and we did the best we could with the resources we had to tell those stories, and we ended up with a handful of short films. You know, it wasn't necessarily the feature documentary that Black Lily deserves, you know, but we did our best to document those things, you know, and I think that's when I'm in my stride, that's what I'm doing. You know, I'm not waiting for permission. I'm just taking matters in my own hands and saying like, look, somebody needs to tell this story, and if nobody else is, I'm going to do it.